Hello. What's up, family? What's Stinky? What is up, family? I know I'm a little late. I'm a little behind schedule. Your girl is a little late, a little behind schedule, but hopefully y'all come on in here because I do got a message for you. So when y'all come in, say hey, say what's up. That way I know who's here. I still got Dream Wise name down at the bottom. That's okay. Y'all know who it is. What's up, family? When y'all come on in, say what's up, say hey. Today we're going to be talking about spiritual initiation. Today we're going to be talking about spiritual initiation and how that shows up. Now, the reason why that is so important, is because so many of you are going through different spiritual initiations and you probably don't even realize it. You probably don't even realize that in this space and time, in this moment, you are being refined. You are being transformed. You are being made anew. Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Make sure that y'all come in, like the video, share the video, do all of those great things so that the rest of the family knows that we are live. Happy Wednesday. Y'all know something so funny, so spiritual, so amazing is that I was born on a Wednesday. So Wednesday is kind of like my lucky day. And so I want all of y'all to do that same thing. Like go and discover what day you were born on. Was it a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever? And then you can start to create like a spiritual practice or a spiritual ritual for the day that you celebrate, for the day that you were born, that you would actually celebrate yourself on that day. That is absolutely something that y'all should absolutely do, right? I was born on a Wednesday. That's the actual day I was born on. And so on Wednesdays, I like to do spiritual, powerful, magical things, right? So, do y'all know what day y'all were born on? Right? You should. If you don't know what day you were born on, you should know the day that you were born on and make that day special to you. Now, of course, every day is special, every day is powerful, every day is magical, but that day that you were born on can definitely be a day that you celebrate yourself, should be a day that you really do some self-love, really do some self-care, really get into that powerful work, right? And then yeah, also with knowing the day that you were born on, you can tap into the gods and the goddesses that are venerated and celebrated on that day as well. So when Jay Lori, when my girl Jenny said Happy Wednesday, that just triggered that in my mind because again, I was born on a Wednesday and my birthday is actually this Friday, October 7th. My birthday is actually this Friday. But let's go ahead and get into this information because I don't want to hold y'all up on this lovely Wednesday. Listen, spiritual initiation. Have any of you guys, let me know in the chat if y'all ever felt like you were going through a spiritual initiation, right? Let me know in the chat if you've ever felt like you were going through a spiritual initiation. And then by the end of this discussion today, you will know for sure, right? By the end of this discussion today, you will know for sure whether a certain time and space, or even in this present moment right now, if you are being initiated into a higher state of being. Yep. Jay Lori said right now. So true. Divine Zoe said, what's that? Well, I'm glad you asked the question, what's that? Because that's what we're going to be getting into today. So, first things first, what is a spiritual initiation? Well, when you even think about the word initiation, the root of that is initiate, right? Which means to start, to begin, right? And so a spiritual initiation is really like a rites of passage. It's you beginning a journey, a spiritual journey that is going to help you to get to a new state of being, that is going to help you to tap deeper into who you divinely are. An initiation, a spiritual initiation, is a means of transformation, right? It's a means of transformation. It's when you're going through this specific process that is actually purging you, refining you, transforming you, and pushing you to be who it is that you are supposed to be. And so today I'm just so excited to talk about the spiritual initiation that is actually what, if y'all didn't know, now you know. Kimmy is with me. But she won't be here for she won't be on the live stream with me for long. Daddy can come and get her now. Dreamwise, I know you are in the chat. Come and get Kimmy. She says she's done eating and she's ready to go hang out with you. So family, you are all divine sacred beings, right? You are all divine sacred beings, and you have a purpose, you have a mission, you have a reason for being here, right? And so sometimes we have to have these spiritual initiations that actually allow us to tap into who we are meant to be. Do you want to say hey to the family?
Peace to the
They cannot see you like that. Man, drop down.
Hey.
There he go, y'all.
Oh, I didn't want to mess up your eyelashes. Dang,
really? You gonna do that right now?
God,
really? You gonna do that?
You can't right with them eyelashes on.
Really? You really like to play?
Yeah. God,
he really like to play, y'all. Why he playing?
Yeah.
Man, stop.
Okay, all right.
Stop. Bye, Kimmy. See you. All right. That was enough of that. Dreamwise, love to play. Love to play. All right. So, spiritual initiation, right? It's when we go through these, these pathways. It's when we go through this work, this refinement, when we have these specific challenges in our lives that actually are refining us and helping us to grow. And so these initiations are absolutely necessary. It's absolutely necessary. And, it was channeled to me last night to have this conversation because I know so many of you right now are going through a spiritual initiation and you're just like, what is going on? What is taking place? You kind of are confused about why you are having specific challenges, and you don't know that in this moment you are in a space of learning and transformation. You don't realize that in this moment you're basically in a school. Let me go ahead and go live on Instagram as well, because we got some family over there who has been showing up regularly. Let's go ahead and do that. Right? So, spiritual initiations, family. The reason why I decided to talk about this, because last night I had a dream, right? And I told y'all dreaming is my superpower, right? Dreaming is one of my superpowers. Let me say that. It's not the only one, but it's definitely one of my superpowers. And so last night I had a dream that my older brother was going through an initiation. Literally in the dream, I see my older brother, but except in the dream for him, it looked like he was going through, like he was about to become like an alpha or an omega or something like that. Before I keep going, let me say hey to everybody that is coming through, because I got to acknowledge y'all. Y'all are always showing up for me. What's up, Lexi, still learning? What's up, Lakeisha, Sin, West Oakland? What's up, All Things Divine? What's up, Dream Love? What's up, Infinite Being, Divine Zoe, Nicola's Abundance, Soul Energizer, Alicia, Beautiful Love, Ashley, Mahogany, East Tea Tree. What's up, sis? What's up, Shay? What's up, Divine Magic, Nicole? What is up to all of y'all? Let me see over here on Instagram. What's up? Fowler A64, what's up, bro? What's up? The Spectacular, I don't know, it's a lot, so let me just say the Spectacular. Let's just stop right there. What's up? Same Royal Girl. What's up? What's up, Tangela? Hey, y'all. So I wanted to just pause and say hey to y'all before I keep going in a rant, right? Because y'all know once I get going, I just be going, and So, hey, so I had a dream last night that my older brother was going through like this initiation. Now, of course, in the dream, the words initiation weren't coming up. But as I reflected on the dream, I was like, oh, that was an initiation process. Obviously, people right now, for me to see it as my brother, obviously, people right now are going through these initiations. And so, like in my dream, my brother was like, all right, D, I'm gonna see you later. I gotta go. I'm in this process. And he ended up getting in a car, and the car was full of other men, right? The car was full of other men. And I was just looking like, what is that? But then I realized I was seeing kind of like if y'all ever went to college and you ever heard about, people becoming alphas and omegas or deltas and AKAs, when they're going through that process, it's always like very sneaky in the sense to where they can't necessarily be obnoxious about whatever it is that they're doing. It's a group of people all doing it at the same time. And so that's what it looked like. And that's what I had picked up on in my dream. I was like, oh, there's a spiritual initiation happening. But the spiritual initiation that's happening right now, family, is so that you can align more with your divine sacred self. It's so that you can align more with the God that dwells within you. It is so that you can become your divine sacred self. That is what this initiation is for. And so I saw my brother, he hops in the car with these people. They drive off fast, almost secretive, like, oh my God, let's hope she didn't see us, but I did. So I see that. And then a little while later in the dream, my brother shows up and we're in this, when they have these things at these sororities and these fraternities or whatever, they kind of have their coming out parties, right? Or whatever it's called. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's when they went through the initiation and now they're coming out and they're showing everybody like, yes, I've just come through this process. I'm new, I'm different. I am an omega now, an alpha now, whatever it is, right? And so in my dream, after my brother disappeared in the car, some time goes by. Time is relative in the dream space, but something happens and we end up being in like a restaurant or something of that nature. And my brother starts saying these words. I cannot remember what the words were, right? But he starts saying these words, and everybody in the restaurant, all the men in the restaurant, start saying the words with him. And they all start doing it at the same damn time, kind of like what we've seen when it comes down to these college fraternities, when it comes down to Freemasons and things like that. So immediately when I see this, I'm like, oh, there is an initiation that is taking place, and we got to talk about it. Okay, we got to talk about it. So again, a spiritual initiation is really like a rites of passage. It is a means of transformation. It's the start of you becoming something new. It's the start of you becoming something different. And this is absolutely necessary, right? We were just talking on Patreon earlier today in the book club, and we were just discussing how if you don't change, if you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, if you keep talking the same, if you keep living the same, if you keep thinking the same, if you keep feeling the same, if you keep doing the same things, your life is not going to change. So that spiritual initiation is so very important. Naja, girl, I done sent you a request to join the group in Womb Alchemy. So please go on the Geneva app. I sent you a request to join our Womb Alchemy group for this October session. Our first session is on Sunday. So you need to join that group so that you can receive the Zoom link and all of that good stuff, right? So that you can get everything that comes from being a part of that community. So sis, do that for me, right? So you have to understand that if you don't change, if you don't go through these initiations, if you don't go through these situations, you don't become who you're destined to be, right? You need these initiations. You need this purging. You need this refinement. You need that work. You absolutely need that work. You cannot expect for you to get to the next level in your life, whether it be abundance, whether it be in relationships, whether it be in business and living in your purpose. You cannot expect to get there if you stay the same person. So these spiritual initiations is absolutely required in order for you to get to where you got to go. Yes, EC Tree, it is my brother that is about to have a baby, right? See, you connecting the dots. East Tea Tree, you are connecting the dots, sis. Because y'all, a little while ago, I talked about how my brother, the last video I did talking about dreams, I talked about how my brother, his girl is actually pregnant right now. And so, yes, he is being initiated into fatherhood at this point in time, right? Into biological fatherhood. That's what he is being initiated into. So you are right on point, sis, and you're picking up on what I'm putting down, right? Because when I saw that, that's the first thing I thought about. Oh, my brother is going through this fatherhood initiation. And me, his little sister, I am 100% here to support him in that becoming, right? In that becoming. I'm 100% here to support him in that becoming. So, do we understand what an initiation is? I want to make sure that we understand what an initiation is before we get a little bit deeper into why we do it and why we go through it. Here's the thing, family. Some initiations you can't plan. Like the people who decided that they want to become, they want to go be in a sorority, or they want to be Freemasons, they want to be in a fraternity. The people who decide that they want to do those things, they decide that, they make that choice. They say, okay, right now, my sophomore year in college, I'm going to become so and so and so. But when it comes down to spiritual initiations, a lot of the times you don't say, okay, this is what I want to experience right now. A lot of the times your higher self, your divine sacred self, the God that dwells within you, the God that can see everything, right? Puts these things in play, puts these things in motion. You don't have any control over it. You may be thinking in your mind, this is what I want for myself right now. This is what I want for my life right now. And then spirit, your higher self says, no, I'm about to push you in this different direction. And what you have to learn is how to actually surrender into that, how to go through the process, how to embrace that process and see what happens. Oh, I had this download today. That was I cried, right? I was driving in the car, going to get my eyelashes done, right? Shout out to Dreamwise. He likes to take care of his lady, right? But I was going to go get my eyelashes done today. I was in the car and I was driving, and I was listening to a podcast. And the podcast, they were saying in the podcast that you have to follow the will of God, right? You have to follow the will of God. And I just got flooded with this emotion of just like, wow, like that's just it. That's like following the will of God is really like the end all be all. But here's the thing with spiritual people. You have to know, see, y'all be knowing, okay, there's a higher power, a higher energy that you are connected to, that you are a part of, that is you. You know that, right? You realize that, you recognize that. But your humanity really will cloud you from really following that divine intuitive guidance that has been given to you, right? Or you've been, a lot of people who are in spirituality right now, or you've experienced some form of trauma in the church or in religion or in these things, and you disconnected from the idea of God or source or universe and all of these things, right? And so I was in the car driving, and I was just listening to this podcast, and they had said something to the nature of, you just got to align with the will of God. You just have to get in. And it's crazy because in my dream, that's what I was, that was the words that were constantly being told to me. Like, how do I align with God? How do I become my God self? Like in my dreams, that's what I was hearing, right? As I was seeing my brother go through this initiation process, and I'm kind of, conscious in a sense, as I'm thinking about what I'm seeing, I just kept on hearing aligning with God, aligning with God, aligning with the God that you are, aligning with your goddess self. That's just what I was hearing. And as I was driving in the car today and I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about aligning with the will of God, tears just start to flow down my eyes. And I couldn't even, just make sense of it. But what I had come to realize was that, my whole life journey up until this point has been just about aligning with the will of God and just aligning with me, aligning with who I divinely am, and following that call, following that voice, right? And not getting stuck, not getting caught up in the trauma or what is comfortable or who I've been in the past, but constantly trying to align with what is right for me within my being. And so I just shed a tear. And then the next thing that the young lady said on the podcast, she said, your job, your responsibility is to align with the will of God. That's your responsibility, to align with the will of God, to align with your higher self. That is you. That is your responsibility. Now, the results, the consequences, the fruit of that labor is not up to you, right? I think so much in the spiritual community, we get so caught up on, well, what's going to be the result of this meditation, or what's going to be the result of joining this class, or what's going to be the result of me putting myself out there? How is it going to show up? How's it going to be affected? Are people going to like it? Is it going to be understood? We get so caught up on that we get off of the will, right? We remove ourselves from the will of our higher selves, right? We get so caught up on the effect that we don't even move in the cause, right? Y'all know about the law of cause and effect, because this is the result. But so many spiritual people and people in general are so caught up on the effect that you don't walk in the cause. And so as I heard, they didn't say that in the podcast, right? That's just my little 2 cents being added. But as I heard, your goal, your mission should be just to follow the will of God, and then whatever the results of that. As I heard that, it literally brought tears to my eyes, because I'm like, you know what? Every time I show up, whether it is in a video, whether it's in a coaching call, whether it's with my kids, whether it's with Dream, whether it's with my family, every time I show up, my goal and my desire is just to make sure that what I'm doing, what I'm saying is in alignment with God. It's in alignment with my higher self. It's in alignment with my purpose and my mission in life. And so it was just a beautiful thing just to understand, and just to be able to say, you know what? I don't know what the result of going live every Wednesday and every Friday is going to do. I don't know what the result of that is going to be exactly. I don't know what the result of, hosting a workshop or having a class or doing the Sacred Sister Circle. I don't know exactly what that is going to birth and create, but I'm going to do it anyway, because it aligns with the God that dwells within me, that is whispering in my ear, that is talking to me, and that is telling me what to do. So I say this to y'all. You need these spiritual initiations, because otherwise your ass won't align. Or you think you're aligned, right? Or you delude yourself and think you're aligned. You think you're doing something. And then when you start to experience static and stagnation and the lack of progress in your life, it is in those moments where you're like, damn, I must not be aligned. I must not be doing the thing. And so when your thoughts are everywhere and your emotions are everywhere and you are feeling chaos in your life, that is an initiation that is taking place. That is an initiation that is taking place. And Heather said, is it a bad idea to move during an initiation? I'm not going to say that it is. I'm not going to say whether it is or it isn't. My spirit is telling me no, because a part of the initiation may be the movement. A part of your initiation may be moving. It may be relocating. It may be doing something different. It just depends on that voice that is communicating with you and what your spirit has actually been telling you. Okay. Jenny says it's been tough trusting that process, because it's also a form of letting go of part of yourself that you got used to. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the point of initiation. So let's get into it. So why do we go through these initiations? We go through these initiations because one, it challenges our will. Like I just said, will of God, will of you, will of your higher self. Your will must be challenged because at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, am I going to align with my higher self or am I going to continue with what is comfortable? So you need these initiation processes where things get chaotic, where you don't, you can't rationally make sense of what's taking place. You need that because it's testing you. It's growing you. It's stretching you. It's expanding you. So you need that because you need to test your will. Challenging your will is really about, are you going to listen to the guidance that you've been given? Are you going to push through? Are you going to become? Are you going to expand? Are you going to stretch? Or are you going to stay the same? I tell y'all this and I'll tell you it again. The only way that you are going to create a new reality, a new life experience, is if you become something different. And so these initiation processes are forcing you to become something different. It's forcing you to discipline yourself to follow the intuitive guidance that you've been receiving. Okay? Some of y'all need to fast. Spirit just said, go ahead and tell somebody it right now. Some of y'all need to fast, and you need to go through that form of initiation. Some of y'all been eating, drinking, smoking, sexing, distracting, been doing a whole bunch of shit that is not aligned with the will of God for your life right now. That doesn't align with your higher self right now in this moment. I can't say, never smoke, never drink. I will never tell you anything like that. Because I like to partake every now and then, right? Like my birthday on Friday, I'm telling Dream, I'm like, babe, you know what? I want to actually get lit because I don't drink, right? I don't drink. I barely drink. Like even when it's other people's birthdays, I just do a little bit. I can't do a lot. It's not that I got the body to withhold a lot, right? But for some reason, my spirit I just haven't been getting into it. But for my birthday, I'm like, I want to have some fun, right? But some of y'all are drinking, smoking, and doing all of those things, and you're disguising it as you're tapping into spirit. No, you're not. You're using the weed, the alcohol, the drinking, the sex, the shopping, whatever. You're using those things to muddle and mask the voice of your higher self. It's because you're not really wanting to sit with yourself. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, these initiation processes are forcing you to sit with yourself. And people who are on here saying, I feel like I've been in initiation for a year. It is very much so possible. For the people that are saying, feel like I've been going, at this for years and years and years, and you haven't felt like you've had that release. You haven't felt like you've had that break, and you've had that moment of just being able to take it easy. It's probably because there are some things that you're doing in your life right now that your spirit is like, you're still in this initiation process because you haven't let go of one or two of these things that I need you to separate from so that you can see clearly. See, when you're always drinking and you're always smoking, it clouds your vision. When you're always, needing sex or whatever, it's clouding your vision. And a part of initiations, family, is dealing with those chakras. With your lower chakras and your higher chakras. It's dealing with all chakras, really, when you go through initiations. Actually, each initiation that you go through will play on a specific chakra. Okay? It will play on a specific chakra. I'm going to talk about all of that with y'all right now. So that was just a side note, right? Some of y'all are being asked to fast. Stop putting it off. Mark a date on your calendar and say, on this day, I'm going to start my fast. On this day, I'm going to end my fast. And when that day comes, you do it. Okay? You do it. You got to walk the path. You got to go through the initiation process. So these spiritual initiations, they challenge your will. I tell y'all, I had a see, and here's the thing, family. These spiritual initiations, they like I said, they affect the, sometimes it's strictly dealing with the root chakra, sometimes it's dealing with the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown. You will have a spiritual initiation that deals with each of those chakras. Sometimes a spiritual initiation will deal with all of them. But I remember when I was needing to address my root chakra because I had this belief system of I had to work hard for money. Right? That was one of the beliefs that I had in my mind, that money, work hard, put forth a lot of effort, a lot of time. That's what I truly believed. And so I remember when it was so funny. I've told this story before, but when I was working as that PEA, right? My spirit was working on me. My spirit was like, you are not going to move forward unless you get better with time management. Right? Unless I get better with time management. I even came on here a couple of minutes late, but it's all spiritual. But in the past when I was being late, it was just an unconscious thing. Like I was really operating on CPT, right? Color people time. I was acting like, everything just revolved around me and I didn't have to show up. And in that time, this is when I was hella stressed. It's when I was like, damn, okay, I can't afford this. I can't afford that. I can't do this. I can't do that. Like, what the hell? And I was thinking, okay, let me work another job. Let me work 2 jobs to try to make ends meet. And my spirit was like, no, you don't got to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. Your ass needs to get to the one that you have. Get there on time. Stop complaining. So even in that moment, I was being initiated to have the skills to take care of having more, right? Because when I moved into to the second job that I had that was able to provide more for me, where I basically tripled my income, when I got to that point, I was the head volleyball coach, which means I can't be late, because if I'm late, then these little girls are by themselves. They don't have nobody watching after them. They're not being provided for. They're not being cared for, so on and so forth. You understand? So a lot of times it is when you're going through a spiritual initiation, it's because you have to deal with some of those unconscious beliefs, some of those unconscious habits, some of those unconscious emotions that you keep living off of, because those things are standing in the way of you getting to where you got to go. And so you got to go through this initiation process. Your will has to be challenged. And so in that moment, when I was always showing up to that job late, I had to push myself, because when we're talking about your will, we're talking about your discipline. We're talking about your discipline. We're talking about your ability to decide every day that you are going to do what you need to do to get to where you got to go. You're not going to let nothing stop you from getting there. And so I had to show up to the job on time, right? I had to show up to the job on time because that was an unconscious blockage of mine. And because, let me tell you how deep this shit gets. Because I was always late in the physical, I was also late in the spiritual. Understand, all of this stuff is it all is interconnected. And so when I started disciplining myself and using my will, and I embraced that I was being refined, I embraced that I was going through this initiation process. When I embraced that and I said, you know what, I'm going through a space and a phase in my life where I'm being pushed to be better. When I embraced that and I started being on time, guess what happened? All of the spiritual things that were in alignment for me ended up being right on time. An exact example of this is when I got that job as the head volleyball coach, 3 freshmen came in with me that I just absolutely adored. I love these girls, right? 3 freshmen came in with me my first year as the head volleyball coach. This was divine alignment. And when I tell you, each of them reminded me of an aspect of myself. Each of them. One of them was very athletic, very strong, very smart. She was just so mature. Love her. She reminds me of that part of myself. Another one was very, very feminine, very delicate, very sweet. She reminded me of that girly part of myself that I once was, that I had let go of based off of like the trauma that I had experienced. So she was showing me it's okay to be soft, coach. That's what she was showing me. And then the other one, she was funny. She loved to dance. She loved to sing. She loved to be playful and make jokes. So she reminded me of my inner child self. And so all three of them divinely showed me an aspect of myself that I had forgotten about based off of my experiences, based off the life that I had lived. And let me tell you how divine it is. So they come in their freshman year, and it's my first year as a coach at this school. And that first year, mind you, all of the years prior, for like the last 4 or 5 years, this school had not made it to the playoffs. My first year there, we make it to the playoffs. The next year, we win district. The year after that, we win district again. The year after that, we win district again. I was at this school for 4 years. And it was so divinely aligned because I told those girls, because I was tapping into spirit, I was embracing the initiation that I was going through. But I told those girls, I said, when y'all graduate, I'm going to be leaving too. And I told them, I said, and I'm not going to be leaving to go and work a job. I said, I'm going to be leaving pursuing my passion. I told them that like their sophomore year. And sure enough, their senior year came and, life started to happen and everything lined up for me to leave coaching volleyball and pursue this passion and pursue doing what I'm doing with y'all right now. But I truly believe that I was able to align with this entrepreneurship, align with being in business for myself and doing something powerful. I was able to do that because I got my ass on time. I started being on time in my physical reality, making it to that job. I started showing up on time. And so spiritually, I started to align with all of the divine things, right, that Spirit had in store for me. So yes, I did speak it into existence, but beyond just speaking it into existence, I started to become the thing that I needed to be in order for me to manifest it. You got to get initiated. And I'm not talking about initiated by nobody, no other religious, I don't know about any of those things. I don't know about Ifa. I don't know about Yoruba. I don't know about those things. So I'm not talking about those things. But what I do know is my own life experience. And I knew, and hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight is 2020 because as I was going through these processes and so much happened from this point, from where I am now to who I was then, so much had taken place. So much had taken place. But I truly feel that the initiation of me disciplining myself and breaking through this idea that being late was okay. Once I broke through that, my physical body became on time with the spiritual body, with the spiritual things that my higher self was aligning for me. Do we understand? So these spiritual initiations that you go through, they're going to challenge your will. And you need that because your higher self, God, the divine, that has vision and that can see everything, your higher self that can see everything, knows where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. But because your ass ain't challenging your will, let me not, who you know if it's for you, right? You know if it's for you, right? But if you are not challenging your will and you're not pushing yourself to show up where you're supposed to be showing up and do the things that you know that you're supposed to do, this is why you look at your life and you reflect on your life and you're just like, damn. See, challenging your will. Let me tell y'all about this shit. Challenging your will means it does not matter what thoughts you are keeping, what emotions you're having. When you get the message that says you're supposed to do something, you do it. Okay? When you get the spiritual confirmation, you do it. You just do it. It doesn't matter how you're feeling or how you're thinking. You just say, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to trust that my higher self, God, the divine source, the universe, I am going to trust that in this doing, there is going to be a result that aligns with what I truly desire for myself. Honey, I was thinking, y'all want to know, I was thinking that I was going to win district, then I was probably going to move to a different school, then I was probably going to try to pursue coaching college volleyball. I was thinking that I was going to, do all of that. But as I was going through these initiations, my spirit was like, no. There's something else. And so the something else that actually takes place in these spiritual initiations is that it breaks down the ego. It breaks down the ego. All right. Let me stop that. All right. Your ego meaning your predominant way of thinking, your predominant way of being, right? There are some thoughts, there are some emotions, there are some beliefs that you've been holding on to. And so when you go through these spiritual initiations, it's so that you can break that shit down, right? Some people call it ego death, right? Some people call it an ego death. And that shit is necessary. I'm telling you. It's so necessary because your ego creates all of these like beliefs about the world and what things have to be. I used to literally think, no, I can't go live on YouTube unless I feel like it. I just got to feel like it. If I don't feel like it for whatever reason, I'm not going live on YouTube. I used to really think that. And I was slowing down my progress. Shout out to all of my YouTube family. Shout out to all of y'all. I love y'all. But that's how I used to think. If I don't feel like it, I'm not doing it. And there's a difference. There's a difference between intuitively knowing that I'm not supposed to do something and just doing it because not doing it because I don't feel like it. Right? See, some of y'all feelings got you fucked up. That's a little bit vulgar, but let me just keep it real, especially for you women. Especially for you women. Some of you, your feelings got you fucked up, missing marks that you're supposed to be making. And here's the truth of the matter. I truly believe that you get three real opportunities to seize the day. And if you miss those 3 opportunities to seize the day, you're going to do it again in the next lifetime. I know. Because even allowing those words to come out of my mouth just hit me right in the heart myself. It did. But you get 3. I truly believe 3. 3 is a very divine number. Hell, I'm turning 30 on Friday. That divine 3. That 3, right? So you got masculine, feminine, and then the child. That's why I say 3. Masculine, feminine, and the child. So here's what I mean. You're going to have an opportunity to get things right, a specific thing, right? To get it right on the mental plane. Then to get it right on the emotional plane. Y'all can't see on YouTube, but I'm touching my heart, right? So you got the mental plane, you got the emotional plane, and then you have your physical reality. That's the 3. So what do I mean? Let's talk about me in terms of business. Ooh, this is so juicy. So at first, I had to start thinking like a business owner. Okay, how am I showing up? What because I tell y'all, before I got to this point in my life, I used to think that working a job was literally all that there is. Like working a job, that's how you get paid. That's what you got to do. That's what I used to think, right? And that's what I used to think because that's how I was raised, like many of you. So I had to start thinking, no, I can be a business owner. I can be an entrepreneur. I can do this powerfully. And not just powerfully, I can do it prosperously. I can have more than I would have if I stayed at a job. So I had to start thinking that on the physical plane, on the mental plane. And then I had to tap into the emotion of it. Okay. I had to start tapping into the emotion of it. Okay. What does me living as an entrepreneur, doing what it is that I love, showing up in the way that I want to show up, what does that feel like for me? What does that feel like in my heart? And I had to start priming myself. See, like I just told y'all earlier, I used to say, I'm not going to go live on YouTube unless I feel like it. But see, business on, and Dream would just hit me upside the head with this, speaking figuratively. I'm speaking figuratively. But he would hit me upside the head with this, and he would say, if you had to go to a job, if you didn't feel like it, you were still going to go to that job. I was like, damn, you're right. There were many days where I did not feel like going to that school, but I still had to get them kids up, get them their lunch, drop off at school, and mosey on into that job, even when I didn't feel like it. So I had to shift how I felt as a person pursuing this spiritual business and entrepreneurship. And then the next thing came my will. That's number 3, meaning my physical reality. Meaning I had to start doing the things that business owners do. Sending emails and posting on social media consistently, showing up on time, doing all this stuff. So that's the 3. You get 3 chances with a specific thing. And so right now, what you are seeing of me right now is me being the person that just said, fuck it. Yes, working a job was comfortable. Yes, I don't know what the hell. I don't know if I'm going to have to go back to a job. I don't know. But I'm going to follow these promptings that I've been receiving, and I'm just going to see what it do. Okay? So that's the essence of a spiritual initiation is you just got to follow those promptings. You got to do what it is you're being told to do and let the results be what the results will be. Right? But a lot of you you don't have a clear vision for yourself. A lot of you don't have a clear vision for yourself, and you don't see yourself properly. You see yourself from a defeated, traumatized type perspective, and because you don't see the bigger picture for you, because you don't see yourself the way God sees you. Let me say it again. Because you don't see yourself the way God sees you, you don't strive for anything. You don't become okay with being uncomfortable. You would just rather stay in an uncomfortable space of stagnation, of staleness, of lack, and of not having pleasure and excitement and desire in your life. So you have to start asking your higher self to at least give you a vision. Because if you can have a vision, then you're going to be more optimistic about the challenges that you are facing, because you understand that the challenges that you are facing are just refining you. They're purging you. They're purifying you. They're making you better to align more with your divine sacred self, with your higher self, with the God that is you. But some of you don't even have a vision. You just keep on seeing the same shit over and over and over again. You see the bills, you see the trauma, you see the drama, you see the arguments, you see all of that. And you don't even understand that even those moments are a spiritual initiation. But you're not focused on the growth, you're focused on lack. So, in focus, right? What you are deciding to focus on is a creation of the ego. Right? Understand this. If you've been lacking, right, in whatever area of your life, your ego is comfortable with that. Your ego is comfortable with that. So your ego will keep you stuck looking at those same old things because that's comfortable. So the spiritual initiation, like I just said, it breaks down the ego or gives you that opportunity for an ego death. And your ego, and this is, let me be clear with this. Let me take a pause. The ego, family, doesn't die. Let me just say that. What it does, I want to make that clear because, it can be confusing. The ego, first of all, is a mental construct. Okay? It's a mental construct. It's not a physical thing. So it does not die. Let me just say that. It does not die. Okay. What the ego does is it actually transforms. It becomes something different. It starts to perceive life differently. You start to become aware of more, of better, of other things. And so the construct of your mind that is focused on lack, that is focused on not having enough, that is focused on all of those things, it wants to stay focused on that because that's what's easiest, right? A lot of times your mind doesn't want to have to go through this scrambling up, which is so real, where you start to feel kind of confused. You're like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Who am I? What am I doing? Why is this happening to me? Right? Your mind, your ego doesn't want you to have those questions. Your ego is like, you know what? This is the amount of money we make a year. We got these kids. This is the only house we could afford. This is the car. This is the job. That's life. That's just it. I'm always having these same arguments. I'm always buying the same food. I always wear the same clothes. So your ego is really like, okay, this is who you are. This is who I am. This is the end all be all. And so when you go through these spiritual initiation processes, what's actually happening is your mind is getting all jumbled up and it's going everywhere. Your emotions are all everywhere so that you could align more with a thought and with a feeling that is more in tune with your higher self. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense. Oh, I love that. Naturally natured. I love that. She says, let me share that because that's it. Like being the problem complainer versus the problem solver. Absolutely. See, your ego will have you caught up on, oh, this is wrong and this is wrong. And I don't know why she did that. And I don't know why he did that. He stayed doing all the same stuff. I can't stand my boss. And all of that. Your ego will keep you wrapped up in that. And you're not knowing that right on the other side of that is the solution to your shit. You're not knowing that right on the other side of that consciousness, that higher understanding, being aligned with your divine mind and your intuition, right on the other side of that is the answers that you need to navigate everything. But your ego will rather keep you complaining rather than solving. Absolute facts. Thank you, sis, with your genius self. Thank you. All right. So, we're getting some yeses in the chat. So y'all are getting it. All right. Good. Good. So we go through these processes. We go through these situations. We go through these moments of being forged by fire so that we can create a pathway in our brain, right? Because the mind is all the universe is mental. We go through these things to create a pathway in our minds that is more aligned with God. That's it. So another reason why we have these spiritual initiations is so that we can bring forth a deeper sense of self. And when I'm talking about self, I'm talking about your divine sacred being. I'm talking about the soul that you are. That's what I'm talking about. And so you have these initiation processes that help you to discover who you are at your core. All right. That help you discover who you are at your core. And you need that because so many of us identify with shit that is just surface level. I'm a Black woman. I'm a teacher. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. Okay. I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a coach. We get so identified and we get so caught up on some of those surface level human things that we need these spiritual initiations to let us know that we're more than that we have the power to heal, that we have the power to transform, that we have the power to create. Okay. I talked about this in Womb Alchemy, how one time I had a scare at the doctor. It was a spiritual initiation though. It was definitely a spiritual initiation because, man, it was through that experience that I learned that I'm a freaking healer, like for real. It was through that experience that I learned that I have these internal resources, that I have these skills that literally helped me to heal my body and to align my body with what I wanted to experience. And now I've been able to share that through what we call womb alchemy. But if I would have never had that experience, that scare, that fear, that anxiety, if I would have never had that, I couldn't be standing before you right now with this spiritual process, right? With this spiritual process, with this spiritual understanding. I wouldn't have been able to do it. So you have to understand that you go through these initiations so that you can tap into a deeper sense of yourself. It is absolutely required. You need to embrace it. All right. So let's talk about some of the spiritual initiations that you may go through or that you have been going through so that you understand, so that you can see it, right? So that you can see it and not be so afraid of it, right? Let's talk about some forms of spiritual initiation, right? When a woman is pregnant, she 100% is going through a spiritual initiation. Absolutely no doubt about it. When a woman becomes pregnant with child, she is going through a spiritual initiation because at the end of the day, she will never be the same. No matter how much, no matter how a woman wants to stay going to the club or keep doing the same old stuff that she's been doing, when she has a child, she's not the same, whether she realizes it or not. And a lot of times women don't realize that they're not supposed to be the same. And therefore they fight the change. And then therefore this is where we repeat old toxic trauma. So when a woman becomes pregnant, when a man becomes a father, spiritual initiation is happening, right? When a girl gets her menstrual cycle, y'all, that's an initiation. Do y'all know that? Do you recognize that? Do you realize that? The first time that you make love, and I ain't talking about have sex, there's a difference, right? The first time that you make love, the first time that you come together with somebody who truly loves you, who honors you, who respects you, that is an initiation that is taking place. You're never going to be the same once you experience that level of love and that level of pleasure. Do you understand? When a person turns 21, y'all already know initiation happens. You know, you turn 21, your mama, your daddy, your cousins, everybody trying to bring you a bottle to drink. You're 21, you got to go through this initiation. You got to go through this process. Okay? Absolutely. Let me look at this comment from the artist speaks. Let me see what is being said. I definitely had a moment this week where I had to say, you're already here, so what are you going to do about it? I've done enough crying at this point. What am I going to do? Meaning, the artist speaks, meaning you are being pushed. The initiation that you are in right now is initiation of your will. When you're asking yourself, what am I going to do? Meaning, what willpower am I going to tap into? Regardless of how I feel, regardless of how I'm thinking, what willpower am I going to tap into? Absolutely, love. Man, depression. You know, my depression after graduating college was absolutely an initiation for me. I'm glad you said that, love, because I was going to talk about it. And my depression, let me not say my depression. See, I be telling y'all to watch your words. It ain't my damn depression. It ain't mine. I don't have it. I'm not holding on to it. But my experience with depression was definitely an initiation. And it was an initiation for me to understand the mind, how the mind works, how the mind of God works. That was the initiation. Right? I had to understand the mind of God. And what I learned from that is what you think, what you hold on to, that is what you create more of. And so that was a real initiation process because, man, when I tell you, I mean, hard. I had 2 deep and kind of long experiences with depression. I had 2 deep and kind of, and let me say a couple of months. In college, my experience with depression happened in 2012. and it lasted for a couple of months. And that experience was really one of learning to let go, right? It was an initiation to learn that nothing lasts forever in this reality. I know that's hard to embrace and accept because you got kids, you got a relationship, you got a body, you got a business, you got all of these things that are attaching you to this physical reality. But my experience with depression at that time in college was really teaching me the importance of letting go. I had a breakup with a boyfriend at that time. I had I had just lost my great grandmother, right? And y'all know something so special. Let me get an ashe for my great grandmother, for my big mama. And the reason why I want to say an ashe to her is because she calls me Toby, right? Toby like Kunta Kinte, right? She calls me Toby. Um, and it's short for October. It's short for October, and we're in the month of October now. But yeah, my great grandmother used to call me, "Come here, Octoby." She used to say, "Come here, Octoby." I'm an October baby, but not only because of that, I had a another great grandmother who I don't remember. I don't remember her. Right? I don't remember that great grandmother because she died when I was very young, but her name was October. And my great grandmother on my mother's side, and who I'm talking about that passed away, whose name was October. Of course, they both passed away, but the one whose name was October, she was my great grandmother on my grandfather's side. And so she supposedly I look like October. And so my other great grandmother, Big Mama, who passed away in 2012, she used to call me October. And we're in the month of October. So I got to give an ashe to her, and just give that love because she's such a gift. But in 2012, when she passed away, and then shortly after, I broke up with a boyfriend who I thought was just like the end all be all. You know, girls, your first experience with like a real boyfriend, you think that's the real deal. Honey, I did not know. I didn't know. And so I had went through a depressive moment right there because all of that had happened back to back. But it was a spiritual initiation in beginning to really learn the truth of the matter, which is nothing in this physical reality is secure. Let me say it again. Nothing in this physical reality is secure. And so you may be thinking that your relationship is 100% secure. Your body is 100% secure. Your children are 100% secure. And that's just not the reality of planet Earth. Right? And so in that moment in 2012, when I had that depression and I went through that initiation, I was really learning what it means to have to let go. To have to let go. Because depression actually happens when you refuse to let go of something. Whether it's a thought, a feeling, a person, an understanding, that's what that was, right? That's what that was, a refusal to let go. And so that initiation process was that. The second time that I experienced depression, when I had graduated from college, that's when I was learning about the power of the mind. And so a lot of y'all are thinking that you're going through some shit and you're just going through it just because. You think that your life is just chaotic and the traumas and things are just happening just because. No, family, it is happening as a form of your refinement and as your growth. And as you get on the other side of the situation and you look back, you'll be able to say, oh, that's why that happened. When I was depressed, and just out of there, just not feeling like life was worth living, not knowing why I was here. What I was doing at that time, I was smoking weed at that time because that was the vice, that was the thing that I would use to make me laugh, right? I would be like, you know what, let me just smoke a little bit. And I was using weed to kind of raise me up out of that space that I was in. Some of y'all are still doing that right now. And I want to just tell y'all, the quicker you let it go and you allow yourself to sit with what you're sitting with, and you allow yourself to embrace the lesson that is being taught to you right now, the quicker you won't be dependent on anything for your joy, the quicker you won't be dependent on anything for your happiness, for your well-being, for your peace. So the last experience that I had with depression was because I needed to learn how the mind works. So divine, right? And it was the thing that actually led me to meditating. And I started meditating and meditating and meditating and meditating. And I started to learn, like, wow, if I discipline myself to keep shifting my focus to what actually serves me, if I discipline myself to do that, my mind is going to keep looking for the things that actually serve me. This was a major initiation. It was a major thing that I learned. Because at first, I didn't realize that my mind was just attracted to the things that I was focused on. I didn't realize that. But when I got into that depressed state and my spirit said, you need to meditate, and I started meditating consistently, I realized that my mind is only going to want and crave whatever it is that I've been giving my attention to. Y'all have heard the saying. What's the saying about attention? Y'all let me know in the chat. What's the saying about attention and energy? Y'all let me know in the chat. Because going through a depression is what led me to have that understanding and to become better. Going through a depression was the initiation to understanding it, to understanding how the mind works. Y'all let me know in the chat what that saying is. I'm waiting. I want to know if y'all know it. You should. Yes, where attention flows, energy goes. Energy flows where attention goes. Your energy, your aura is going to bring forth whatever you've been focused on. And before I had that moment of depression, before I had that depression for those few months, I didn't know that. That's something important to know, right? It's important to know that wherever you focus your attention, that's what you're going to get more of. Don't y'all think? Don't you think that's important to know? I didn't know it until I went through depression. Do you understand? So some of y'all are in a space of maybe depression or chaos or lack or frustration or annoyance, and or maybe it's complacency. Some of y'all are in a place where you're just complacent with life. You're not really satisfied. You're just complacent. You're just like, meh. Some of y'all are in that space. Some of y'all are in a space where you're just dissatisfied, and you don't realize that in this moment right now, you are being refined for a specific purpose. Okay? And so today, I just want to be able to help you understand, family, when you are going through a spiritual initiation, because you absolutely need them. All right. So that depression was my initiation, and let's break this down a little bit. Initiation means to start. Initiation means you are beginning to initiate. You have to be the initiate, meaning I'm starting something new. In tarot terms, you have to be the fool. Okay? When I went through that depression, I was a fool to my own thoughts. When I went through that depression, I was a fool, meaning I did not know the power of my divine mind. Okay? Baby Kim's birth. I just heard her say, nyang, nyang. She said, talk about me now, mommy. Talk about me now. This is a good one. Baby Kim's birth was a spiritual initiation for me. It was on so many freaking levels. Oh my God. So Kimmy, who's going to be turning 1 in a little bit over a month. So excited, right? November 30th. Happy birthday to my baby. You know, her birthday, we had planned on delivering Kim at home. It was going to be our first official home birth, right? When we had KJ and Kara, we had them. Well, Kara was born in the car, and then KJ was born at a birthing center. So both of them were out of hospital births. So it's only right that Kimmy would be born out of the hospital, but even deeper, she was going to be born at home. And so freaking crazy. Her due date was for November 19th. November 9th. babe, was it November 19th? I can't think of her, these due dates I be getting confused. I can't remember if it was November 19th or if it was November. Her due date she was supposed to be due before Thanksgiving. Let me just say that. She was supposed to be due before Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving had came and gone. Just be real about it. Thanksgiving had came. Y'all know the day after Thanksgiving that year, 2021, we had the Master Student Conference. We were prepared. We were prepared for me to possibly go into labor during the Master Student Conference and have to run up out of there and give birth. We were prepared for all of that, right? The Master Student Conference comes and goes, and Kimmy's not here, right? Kimmy's not here, whatever. So finally, I started to tap into some of the old midwife brews, right, to try to get Kimmy to come, right? Oh, well, happy birthday to your son, Nishaya. I love it. So we waiting for Kimmy to come. Thanksgiving comes and pass. Master Student comes and pass. Now I'm starting to tap into like the midwife brew. I'm trying to do anything to kind of, get her going, get labor going. Finally, on November 29th, I start to feel a contraction. I'm like, okay. I tell Dream late that night, I'm like, okay, babe, we about to get something going. We about to get something going, right? 2:00 in the morning comes. I know I'm in labor. I'm like, babe, yep, it's really happening. I'm having contractions, so on and so forth. We called the midwife at like 6:00 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, it's actually happening. We're in labor. It's real. You probably want to come on over here. Midwife comes. My mom comes. Dream mom comes, and we got the kids at the house. And we're preparing for a home birth. We're preparing to deliver her at home in the bathtub, and we're ready. And we're having these contractions, and actually I'm dilating well. My body is doing the work, but Kimmy is not down in the birth canal just yet. And so my midwife, y'all, a year ago telling this story, I would be crying. And if I tear up today, no judgment, right? I love y'all. But a year ago, right? A couple of weeks after she was born, this was a very sensitive topic for me. But it was because I was in an initiation, right? It was a very sensitive topic with tears and emotions and thoughts and all of that because I was going through an initiation at that time. That's why I'm telling you about it, right? So midwife is checking Kimmy's heart rate. Her heart rate keeps dropping. And it's not coming back up fast. And so my midwife says these words. She says, I think we got to go to the hospital. And when you're having a baby at home, those are not the words that you want to hear, because you're thinking you're about to hop in the tub. You're about to deliver this baby in the tub. That's what I was thinking. That's what I had planned. See, when you have these spiritual initiations, the divine is like, excuse my language, but the divine is like, fuck your plans. Fuck your plans, right? That's what was happening. And so ambulance comes. I got medical bills, y'all. I ain't even want no medical bills. We paid for Kimmy's birth, delivery, everything. We paid straight up cash, right? Anyways, ambulance comes. We get in the back of the ambulance, and we ride. I'm having contractions. I'm unmedicated. Shit's hard in this ambulance, right? We get to this hospital. The doctors and nurses come in there. They check Kimmy. Her heart rate is still dropping. They check me. They're like, okay, you're like 8 centimeters dilated. And they asked me, I was like 9 centimeters dilated. They asked me, do you feel like pushing? And I'm like, no, I don't feel like pushing. Like, I don't feel her head. And I know what a baby's head feels like. I've done this twice already. And I'm like, yeah, she's not low enough. Even though my cervix is open, she's not low enough. I'm not feeling like the push. And so her heart rate keeps dropping. And the doctors start talking about, okay, we may have to have a C-section. And it was so funny because me, Dream, and my midwife, we made a divine triangle. So freaking divine. It's so divine. My midwife is to my right, Dream is to my left. And we all just look at each other and we just say, let's go ahead with this C-section. Now, mind you, in my past, never would have thought I would have had a C-section, right? I've delivered 2 babies unmedicated, like literally popped them out. Amazon woman, strong, right? But we look at each other all at the same time and we're like, no, let's just do this C-section. Let's just get her out. So they like, okay, mom, you saying yes? And we're like, yes. And at first we're thinking that Dream is going to be able to go into the C-section with me. And I'm thinking it's about to be one of those experiences, right? Where I'm laying on the table, I'm awake, I see my husband right here, the baby comes out, they give me the baby. That's what I'm thinking it's about to be. Doesn't happen that way. I get in the operating room and I start to feel all. Now this is when it gets real kind of supernatural. It gets very white, right? The entire room is white and sterile and very cold. And I just hear them, they're moving very fast, faster than they were moving at first, right? In the moment, I don't know that something is wrong. I didn't know that anything was wrong, but they just start moving really fast. And they're like, okay, mama, we're going to have to put you to sleep. That wasn't the plan. So, I'm feeling it's crazy, y'all. I'm feeling them all in my nether regions. I feel myself get poked. I feel needles going in my arms. They're putting a mask on my face. And I just look up. Now the emotion is coming. I'm going to tell y'all. I look up. Thank y'all. So I look up, and at this time, I'm almost like I'm having a conversation with myself and my spirit guides and all of that. And I'm literally having a conversation about my death. Literally. Because I'm just looking up. I got this mask on my face. I know I'm about to be put to sleep. And being put to sleep is not something that you like take for granted. Right? These people are putting something in your body that is going to turn you off in a sense, right? That is essentially turning off your body, right? I don't take that for granted. I don't take that lightly at all. So, and I'm doing it. I'm delivering a baby, and and we've heard about all the stuff that comes from especially Black women in doctors and labor and delivery and all of that. I mean, that's why I chose to have my first 2 children at home, because I knew how biased, right? I knew how biased, and it's a part of the initiation. I'm getting to it. But I knew how biased the medical system is when it comes to Black women, when it comes to Black people, period. So I'm in the operating room and I look up and I'm like, okay, God, if this is the end, okay. But also at the same time, I'm like, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. Whatever happens from here on out, I'm at peace. I desire to stay here and raise these children and pursue my passion and pursue my purpose. That's what I want. That is what I desire. And so in that moment, I called on my ancestors. Specifically, I called on my great grandmother, Big Mama, who y'all just gave some ashes to. I called on her, and I called on my midwife, right? My midwife who delivered KJ and Kara. My midwife who delivered KJ and Kara, I called on her because, the entire time I thought, if I give birth, I wanted to be with her. I want her to be there. And I had a dream about her. I said this in my last video. I had a dream about her where she said, if ever you need me, call on me. And should at this moment, if I ain't never needed you before, I need you now. And so I'm like Big Mama, Afua. I call on all the great mothers. I call on all my great mothers energies that I know and that I know love me. And I just call on them and I'm just like, just protect me, protect this baby, like please. Very hard time because I literally was making peace with the fact that I may not be here to raise my children, to pursue this passion, to love on my family, to love on dream. I was making peace with it at that point. And so I go to sleep. I go to sleep and then I wake up, ashe and gratitude for that. I wake up, but I wake up and my baby is not beside me. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Beauty Princess. Beauty Princess over here on Instagram says she had a similar experience. Yeah. And so I wake up and my baby is not beside me and my midwife is beside me. So that's kind of weird because I'm like, well, where's my husband? Where's my baby? Where are my people? But I'm grateful that she was there. I wake up and they're like, okay, you just had the C-section and I'm hearing all of this stuff. You lost a lot of blood. Basically I hemorrhaged. And which is something that they say a lot of Black women do. And Kimmy had to be rushed to the NICU. So I couldn't, I didn't see her when she was born. And that was one of the hardest things ever because, being a mom was like one of my, before I became who I am today, when I was a kid, being a mother was like the only thing that I wanted to do. It was like my only purpose and life mission. It was the thing that I really loved. But when I woke up and she wasn't there, I mean, that was just a heartbreaker. And then, my family wasn't there, right? My midwife, I love her, right? She's great. I love her. And it was spiritual because it was my midwife's birthday. So Kim and my midwife, they have the same birthday. And so that was a spiritual gift. And I just had to embrace this initiation process that I was in. And so they're talking to me and I'm delusional because I just came out of surgery and I'm this and I'm just like, what? Okay, what? And I'm feeling all of this pain. I'm out of there. I'm not around the people that I love. And so my midwife ends up calling Dream and is like, yeah, she's okay. She's awake now and da 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 da. And I'm just like, well, where's my baby? Where are they? And it was so freaking deep because I had never had surgery before, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I will remain that same way. But I get pushed to this hotel. I get pushed to this room, to this hospital room, and yeah, I didn't get to see Kim for, I want to say it was probably like 12 hours. I didn't get to see her because I just had a C-section surgery, which is a real surgery. Don't ever get that twisted. And and she was being worked on, right? She was being really worked on, and she was being, supposed, it was just a lot, right? Let me just say that. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And so that was a spiritual initiation because one, I had to make peace with death. I had to make peace with my own impermanence in this physical realm. I've had to make peace with my own impermanence in this physical realm. And that was an initiation. And it had to lead me. I needed that experience because I needed to learn that I need to live fully every day. I needed to learn that I don't have time to hold on to and harbor and harp on bullshit. Anger, trauma, fear. You don't have time for it. So that was a major initiation for me in that instance, but it gets deeper. It gets deeper, it keeps going. And yes, you're right, Beauty Princess. There was a level of deep healing that I had to do because I did feel detached. And I felt I felt so in that moment, I felt abandoned, I felt neglected, and I felt like I was abandoning and neglecting Kim. That's how I felt. Very hard for me to very hard for me to not be there with her for that time. Because I know the importance of a baby connecting with their mother immediately after being born into this new world, into this foreign place. But I'm so grateful because Dream, oh my God, he stood in the space. He stood in the space, so deeply. I just heard Kimmy say, Dada. But he stood in the space so deeply in a way that was supernatural, right? Going on 1 year of all of this supernatural spiritual initiation, real talk. And so it was another initiation and healing thing for me because I personally felt because I had to make peace with my own impermanence, right? Because I had to make peace with the fact that life is precious, right? My life is precious. Because I had to make peace with that, and because Dream couldn't be there with me, I needed my mother. I needed my mother. And see, a lot of times as spiritual people, you reflect. You reflect on your traumas. You reflect on what you didn't have. You reflect on the heartbreak. You reflect on all of your experiences, especially pertaining to your mother and your father. And you harbor Is it okay if I shed tears with y'all? Is it okay? Is it okay if I be naked with y'all? Y'all let me know. If this level of nakedness makes you uncomfortable, I invite you to log off. But your girl is turning 30 on Friday. And I told y'all last week that the nakedness was being called upon. I told y'all that the nakedness, the vulnerability is being called upon. Okay? So, as I was making peace with that, having to make peace with it because I didn't have it's out of my control. I'm being initiated at this time. It was out of my control. I'm being initiated at this time. I'm going to a higher level of being. I'm getting to a deeper level of myself at this time. And so I needed my mother. But so often as spiritual people, when you reflect on all of the shit that your mother did or did not do, or all of the shit that your father did or did not do, you harbor resentment and anger and frustration and hatred and a lack of forgiveness. And you let all of that, all of what your mother did or did not do, what your father did or did not do, you let all of that block you from being who you're supposed to be. Oh, my mother didn't do that. My father didn't do that. My mother didn't empower me. I didn't have the Kanye West Donda type of mother where she just told me that I can do anything that I wanted to do. Right? And you harbor all of that and you hold on to all of that. And you let all of that stop you from being who it is that you're supposed to be. What it is you're supposed to do. But in that moment, I needed my mother. I couldn't. Am I back, y'all? Bye. Y'all, listen, y'all be patient with your girl. Y'all be patient with your girl. I don't know what this technology is doing. Are y'all here? Y'all let me know in the chat on okay, we're getting yep. My Instagram is still acting crazy. I'm back. Yeah. You know what? Spirit be looking out. Listen. Instagram family, y'all hop over. Y'all come over. Y'all want to know something? Y'all want to know something? See, I trust spirit. I trust spirit. And I needed that moment. I needed that moment. I needed that moment. I needed that pause because, spirit is definitely working through me, you know? Spirit is definitely working through me. So I needed that moment to honor myself in that moment and not feel like I had to, get it out because when you're having an experience that is full of emotion, you don't want to feel rushed. You don't want to feel rushed. And so spirit kind of knocking that down, I trust it was a moment for me to gather myself, for me to embrace what it is that I'm communicating, and just fully indulge in that spirit and in that energy with myself. So it's such a gift. Such a gift. But in that moment, y'all, while I was laying in a hospital bed, feeling, almost helpless in a sense, like all I could do was just, because when you have a C-section, first of all, it's very painful. It's very painful. You cough, you sneeze, you do anything. It's very painful. And so in that moment, I really needed my mother and I really needed my father. And I didn't realize how bad I needed them until they were right there with me. I didn't realize how bad I needed them. So I'm sitting in this bed and I can't move and I can't do anything. And I'm hurting. I'm emotionally hurting. My heart is hurting because there was a baby inside of me before I laid on this table and got cut open, and that baby is not with me. I'm not holding that baby. I'm not nursing that baby. And so I really felt helpless, and I really felt like I needed my parents, and I didn't even realize it until they were there, right? So my mother, being the hero that she is, being the shero that she is, she she ended up being there, sitting in the room with me and just loving on me and just giving me everything that I need. And then nighttime came, right? It was probably like, this is so crazy, y'all. I had that. Kimmy was born at 10:34 a.m. I did not get to see Kimmy until 10 o'clock at night. I did not get to see her and touch her until 10 o'clock at night. Like, really. And so my mother came, and Dream's mom was watching KJ and Kara, and my mom was going to be the person that was going to take care of them for however long we were in that hospital, taking care of Kimmy, right? Because we need our mother and our father. We need both that masculine and that feminine energy. And so my mother was needing to leave because she needed to watch our kids, and then Dream needed to stay with Kimmy because absolutely he had to stay with her. And so, my mother was like, call your dad. Now, this was a major healing moment and an initiation to let go of that abandonment wound, and an initiation to let go of that rejection, to let go of feeling neglected, because, relationship was very chaotic when I was a kid. It was very toxic when I was a kid. And so, for my mother to say, call your father, that was a major sign of the healing and the transformation. And it was a sign to me that I can let go, right? It was a sign to me that I can let go of holding on to this resentment from my father for not being who I needed him to be when I needed him to be it. And it was so crazy because when she said, call your dad, I'm a grown ass woman, right? I'm grown at this time. I'm 29 at this time. Like, who really still needs their mother and their father at that age? So I called my dad, and right when he gets on the phone, he says, what's up, babe? I just start crying, right? I just paused because I didn't realize how much my soul needed to mend that relationship. I didn't realize how much my soul needed him to be there for me in that moment. I didn't realize how bad I needed that, right? I was just moving through life in the past up until that moment, just like, yeah, I understand my father did this, and I understand I had this abandonment wound, and this is how it's affected me, and this is how I'm being made better. I didn't realize how much I needed him to be there for me, right? And so, he picks up the phone, and I paused because just hearing his voice, it hit a very tender spot in my heart. And so I tell him, I said, had a C-section. My mom has to go. Dream is taking care of Kimmy. I need you here. And he said, I'm on my way. That's one of the most powerful words my father ever said to me. He said, I'm on my way. So he got there. He got there in the early evening and didn't leave till like midnight. And so when he got there, and he got there probably around like 6 or 7 o'clock or something like that. And it was finally, because when you have a C-section, they want to keep on giving you these medicines and pressing on your stomach and doing all of this stuff, right? Which is important, right? But because they had to do all of that stuff for me, and because I still was connected to a catheter, I couldn't leave, right? I couldn't leave that room. I had to stay there. But finally, they took all of that stuff out and I was able to go. And, my father, I'm in that wheelchair. I got this IV bag pole thing I'm holding on to. He pushed me all the way to the NICU to see Kimmy. And he couldn't come into the NICU because we're still in that COVID time. And the only people that can come into the NICU are the parents of the child. So he walked me all the way there and helped me in through the door. And then I went in, walking slow with the little IV. Actually, no, I think because I probably wasn't supposed to walk at that time, but Dream came and met him at the NICU door and pushed me into Kimmy's room. And I stayed there it was 10 o'clock at night, right? I stayed there for as long as I could. And then my dad came and got me back from there. So I was able to stay with Kimmy for like 2 hours and couldn't hold her, nothing like that. Could just touch her little fingers and talk to her. And then my dad walked me back to my room. It's probably 12 o'clock. And he's like, all right, babe, I got to go because I got to be at work early in the morning. And at that time, it was good for him to go because I'm like, all right, now I can sleep and I can be alone. That whole night, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep not one time in that hospital. In fact, I was spiritually being worked on. I was spiritually being worked on in that hospital that night. That's why I didn't sleep. Literally, I was awake and this is when my, a deeper level to my clairvoyance and my ability to speak to ancestors, my ability to see into the future, my psychic abilities were coming online even more, right? I always was intuitively led and can feel things and sense things like that. But it came online deeper in the night while I was wide awake. While I was wide awake, family, I saw a vision of Kim as an adult. And when I saw that vision of her as an adult, curly hair, A-line skirt, some boots. I mean, my girl is just fabulous, right? I saw her in New York, actually. I just knew it was New York because I saw her at a train or something. But I saw that vision while I was wide awake, clear as day. It was like Spirit had opened a veil for me to look through. And seeing that was my confirmation that everything was going to be okay, that she was going to be fine. And so it was an initiation. Kim's birth was a spiritual initiation for me. It was to understand that ancestors, right? Like when I'm in coaching sessions, it was an initiation for me to know that some of your ancestors be coming through and speaking to me in the coaching sessions. And that's how I know certain things. That's how I know exactly what to give you and tell you in those sessions. It was initiation for me to know to live my life fully, to show up fully, and to do the things that I want to do, and to not be afraid of pursuing my passions, not be afraid to pursue what it is that I love. It was a message to me to know that I have a purpose. I have a reason for being here, and there's more work for me to do. It was an initiation into that. It was an initiation for me to actually become a whole adult, really. And what I mean by that is some of you are grown in your age, right? You may be 29, 30, 40, 50, whatever. You're grown as far as your amount of years on this planet, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you're still 10, you're still 11, you're still 12, you're still 15, 16, 18, 21, right? You're still that age. And so in that moment, right, my mother and my father, both my mother and my father had to make it work for me, right? When I was a kid growing up, I want to be clear. When I was a kid growing up, my mother and my father, they didn't make it work out for what was in my best interest, right? They were choosing what was in their best interest, right? And I'm not talking about the relationship. I'm talking about their co-parenting. I'm talking about how they co-parented, right? My father saying, yeah, I'm not going to come get Desiree because you tripping today and I don't feel like dealing with your shit. So he decided not to come. Or my mother saying to me when he decided to come, oh, your daddy ain't this and your daddy ain't that, and he did this and he did that. He don't ever show up, right? They did not make it work in that moment when I was a kid for my best interest. They didn't realize how my daddy not coming would cause an abandonment wound. They didn't realize how my mother saying that my daddy didn't come for whatever reason would create a rejection wound. They didn't know what that was creating. And so Kim's C-section and everything that happened afterwards was an initiation for me to no longer continue behaving in some instances as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old girl who was heartbroken because her daddy didn't come, who was heartbroken because her daddy didn't come, or because her mom is, a very strong woman. It was a spiritual initiation for me to let go of those childish ways. It was a spiritual initiation for me to rise up and understand my gifts, my talents, my power. And so understand, family, that these spiritual initiations, they can also come, like I said earlier, through these chakras, right? They also come through the chakras. When they put me under that anesthesia, they had to put a tube down my throat, right? And after I came out, my throat was sore. But not only that, the age that I was in, the age that I'm in right now is all throat chakra work. Right? It's in the initiation of me having a truly balanced, a truly divine throat chakra. Okay? You understand that? Because every 7 years, 0 to 7, root chakra, 7 to 14, solar plexus, 14 to 28, heart chakra, 28 to so on and so on and so forth. Do you understand? Okay? So every 7 years, you're also going to be going through a spiritual initiation because you're going through one of your energy centers becoming more dominant and more prevalent in your life. Okay? I'm in a season right now to where it's all about what I'm creating. The throat chakra is the higher plane, the higher realm of the solar plexus. It's the more divine solar plexus. So it's me creating and emoting and speaking from a place of power. The throat chakra is also connected to your ears, to you being able to hear spiritually. Okay? So every 7 years, you're going through these spiritual initiations. Every 7 years, you're going through these healing moments. Now, of course, you have more spiritual initiations based off of what your higher self is calling forward from you. Okay? Let me know in the chat if y'all are still here with me. Let me know in the chat if y'all are still following me. I know things got very heavy just, a moment ago, but it's all love and light. Let me know if y'all are still here. Let me know if y'all are getting that. I learned so much through Kim's birth and delivery. I learned so much through that. I learned also that we have to stop holding on to certain convictions and certain beliefs and certain, ways that we think life is supposed to be. So how to know if you are in one of those 7-year cycles is if your age ends with the 10, right? So like when I turned 28, right? When I turned 28, that's back to the 1, meaning we're starting all over. So whenever you get to that 1 or you get to that 9, you know that you're either at the beginning or the end. And anything in between is just an opportunity that is supporting you and getting to that next level in your being. See, I heard something that was so deep. It said, we don't manifest heaven, we rise up to heaven, right? We rise up to heaven. Heaven, the state of heaven, that state of bliss, happens through you rising up through the chakras and you doing the healing work and you going through those spiritual initiations and getting to where you got to go. Okay. So we're all on a journey of rising up to our heaven, to what heaven is for us. It's not a place that you go to, it's a place that you rise up to. Okay. Thank y'all for still being here with me. Thank y'all for still being present. Yeah, so Kim's birth was a big deal. And I really learned that we have to let go of these convictions, right? We have some of these strong holding beliefs that we just hold on to that we don't want to let go of. And when you go through these spiritual initiations, your higher self is like really asking you to let things go. I used to feel that I only could deliver, like I only want to give birth at home, or da 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 da. Like I used to really, really be having that stuff in my mind. Or I don't want to feed my baby formula. Like what? I had to get into the spirit of, did the baby eat? Did the baby eat? Because with the C-section, when you have a C-section, it slows down the production of your milk, right? Because our bodies are so intelligent. When a baby comes through the vagina, the body knows. The body automatically starts sending this message like, oh, okay, something is different, something has happened. But when you have a C-section, the body is kind of like, oh, okay, what's going on? The baby's not, the placenta's not really here, but something's different. The vagina didn't do what it needed to do, right? So my breast milk supply, or whatever these people at the doctor's office was saying, but they were saying whatever they were saying. So we had to give Kimmy some formula. And I had to learn to surrender that. I had to let that go and just be like, did she eat? But at the same time, I had to know that I have the power to create whatever I wanted to create. And so I thought that Kimmy was going to be on formula, for her entire time in her infancy. She only ended up being on formula, formula in my breast milk. She only ended up being on it for 6 weeks, right? That's because I had to realize how powerful I was, right? And this is a side note. This is a side note for any woman who is pregnant or has a child or has a baby right now or plans on having a baby. Breast milk is necessary. Please do not let anybody, and now if you have a medical reason as to why you can't breastfeed, that's one thing. But if you are fully capable of breastfeeding your baby, even if the baby can't nurse at the breast, you need to give your baby that milk. And here's why. Kimmy was on so many different things, right? When she was born, right? She was getting support for almost everything. And I started pumping immediately. Immediately after she was born, I want to say that same day, I started pumping. Because I was like, let me do what I would do if she were with me right now. And so I started pumping, and I was able to get a little bit of milk out. And they started feeding her that milk through a little tube. They started feeding her that milk through a tube. And I guarantee you that she got that milk instantly. Everything started changing for the better. She was already improving supernaturally. Like so many nurses and doctors came up to me and was just like, yeah, this baby is special, right? So many of the nurses and doctors came up to me saying that she was special because how quickly she was healing and recovering. Of course, Dream was doing his magical practices. He was doing his magical work, but I was talking to my breast milk. So as they're feeding her breast milk through the tube, I'm just giving her everything that I got within my energy, within my love. I'm just giving her everything that I got within that breast milk. And they're feeding her through that tube. And the very next day, they were like, okay, we're going to take her off of all of this stuff. Let's try her nursing from the breast. Let's do all of that. And if y'all go on Dreams, on Dream's Instagram page, I believe he has a video of when Kimmy first got breast milk. He has a video of when Kimmy first got breast milk, and y'all, she was just so like, you could just tell that it really made a difference. Her head was up. She was only like a day old. Her head was up like this, and she was bobbing for gold, right? She was bobbing for gold trying to get that milk. So very, very powerful stuff. So my message to y'all today, family, is that you have to be refined, you have to be purged, and you have to let certain things go in order for you to tap into that divine state of being. Like I told y'all, like my birth with Kimmy and being put under and making peace with death and really visiting that ancestral realm and really talking to my ancestors and really feeling them come into the room, that opened up a line of communication between me and my ancestors like never before. Like I know for a fact right now that I can just call them whenever, right? I know that I can just say Afua or Big Mama. I know that I can do that. But it truly came through her birth and the challenges that came with that, right? Another time of when we go through a spiritual initiation, family, is when we're in that Saturn return, which I am in my Saturn return right now, right? But it's all a gift. So y'all have to be able to recognize what is actually happening. Some of y'all are thinking that, the chaos in your life, oh, my life, I don't know what is going on. My life is this and my life is that. And you're really going through a spiritual initiation. You're really being refined, right? You're really being pushed to grow and expand. And these spiritual initiations, let me tell you how they happen. Either it's happening in your thinking, right? Either it's happening on the mental realm. It's forcing you to think differently. Either it is happening on the emotional realm, right? The feeling realm. It's forcing you to reflect on what is in your heart. And then the last thing is that you may be having an initiation that is challenging your will. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do consistently to get to where you got to go? It happens on the mental, the emotional, and then the physical. So you have to analyze yourself, analyze your life, analyze where you are, analyze what is happening, analyze what is being asked of you. Right? You got to be willing to lean into that, to tune into that and say, okay, my mind is being changed right now. If your thoughts have been everywhere, if your thoughts have been chaotic, your spirit is trying to call you to transform how you're thinking. If your life is crazy and you can look at your life and see how it is a manifestation of how you've been thinking, you're in an initiation where your spirit is saying it's time to change your mind. It's time to change your mind. It's time to change how you've been thinking. If you've been feeling some type of way, you have no control over your feelings. One day you're up, one day you're down. You cannot express your feelings and you feel blocked emotionally. You feel like you can't attract healthy love and relationships. Then you're being asked to transform and initiate a new feeling pattern, a new emotional pattern. You're being asked to clear your heart space, to forgive, to let go. And then lastly, if you are feeling stagnant in your physical realm, like you're just like, okay, something is not clicking, something is not connecting. Okay, my mind is good, my heart is good, but for some reason things are not going the way that I want it to go. Then you're being asked to move differently. You're being asked to change up your physical habits, your physical routines. That is what you're being asked to do. Okay. I wrote this down the other day because it had came to my attention. I was remembered. Oh, I'm already letting y'all into something. Let me not let y'all know that right now. But the other day, when Michelle Obama released her book Becoming, I went to her book tour. And I learned such a powerful lesson in her book tour. And that is, you are always becoming. Some of y'all are becoming the same person that you've been, or you're becoming better. And these spiritual initiations are trying to push you to become better. These spiritual initiations are trying to push you to become more aligned with your higher self, more aligned with your spirit, more aligned with your divinity. And so you got to recognize that. You got to realize that. You got to embrace that. Okay? Really understand what is being asked of you. All right? Nobody said that it was just going to be easy, but the more you resist it, the harder it actually is. Right? Does that make sense? The more you resist it, the more it actually becomes. So, with that being said, ladies, I got a gift for y'all. Finally, some of y'all have been like, girl, when we going to be able to get the book? You're able to get the book now. Let's take a look. No, I want it bigger. Yes. Ladies, and brothers, if you want to gift your woman, my book, Healing Rituals, 16 Easy Rituals to Heal and Connect with Your Divine Feminine Energy, is now available for purchase. It is the pre-order, right? Once I gather up however many books y'all want, then that's when I'm going to go and that's when I'm going to order it. All right. So the pre-order for the Womb Alchemy Healing Rituals is now available. Y'all can, and I'm gonna keep it at this price. Let me show y'all. Let me just show y'all more. 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 Hope that link works. Babe, put your link in the chat for me, please. So let me tell y'all a little bit about the book. So I don't know why I don't have one copy up here with me right now, because I definitely should, but I don't see one. I didn't think about that before I came on here. So y'all, Womb Alchemy is a healing process that Spirit channeled to me. Let me just say it like that. Womb Alchemy is a spiritual healing process that Spirit channeled to me. And it is not just about the womb itself, but it really focuses on healing. It focuses on connecting to your divine feminine energy. It focuses on you becoming the divine goddess that you are. If you were in my class, if you were in the Womb Alchemy boot camp, let me know in the chat. Say yes. I got all of that good love. Let the family know in the chat, because I want people to know the goodness that is actually happening. All right. I want people to know the goodness that is actually happening. So I wrote this book because, everybody's not able to join the class for whatever reason. And so I wanted to create this book so that you can take yourself through these spiritual processes that I have come to discover, right? Like Heather said, I love the webinars, right? And so what I did was, with this book, is for the people who could not join the Womb Alchemy Boot Camp, I really kind of compacted a lot of what we talk about in the boot camp into a book. And so I did this so that you could be able to tap in with it. I did this for the ladies who, because when you join Womb Alchemy, you get the ebook, but a lot of women want the physical book. And so I'm like, all right, well, let's do it. And so that is what we're doing right now. And we're doing this now in celebration of my 30th birthday. And so for my 30th birthday, I'm doing 30% off of the book until Monday. So for the entire weekend, starting from today until Monday, we're going to be doing 30% off of the book. In the book, you're going to learn about the 4 phases of Womb Alchemy, which is phase 1 is the magical mindset. Phase 2 is self-discovery. Phase 3 is release. Phase 4 is embrace. Those are the 4 phases of the Womb Alchemy healing process. And the rituals are broken up by the phases. So each ritual is specific to the phase. So if you know that you need to address your thinking, if you know you are in a spiritual initiation where your mind is being challenged, then phase one, the magical mindset, the rituals that I put in there, the meditations and the practices that I put in there are going to help you with creating a magical mindset. If you know you need to look deeper in yourself and do some self-discovery work, then the rituals and the practices and self-discovery is going to help you to tune into yourself, ask yourself the right questions, and get the answers that you need in order for you to release, which is phase three. Phase three of the womb alchemy process is release, is surrendering, is letting go. So the rituals that are in that part of the book are strictly for letting go of certain emotions, certain thoughts, certain habits, letting go of whatever you have stuck in your womb. And then phase four is embrace, right? And the embrace part is about you embracing the goddess that you are, you embracing that divine feminine energy, you embracing your sacred self. And so all of the rituals in phase four, embrace, is all about you embodying more feminine energy. This book is full of pictures, it's full of color, it's full of vibrancy. If you look right here, these are some of the pages in the book, right? This is literally some of the pages in the book. And I wanted to give y'all something. I wanted to give y'all something that is powerful. Now, I want to tell y'all some gifts that I got that come with this book. I'm going to show y'all the gifts, right? So the book, of course, for my 30th birthday, it only makes sense that the book be $30, right? It only makes sense that the physical copy of the book be $30. So I'm really excited about that. But here's some other stuff that you're going to get with the book. One, you're going to get the womb prayer. For the ladies who joined Womb Alchemy, most of them say the womb prayer was one of the things that really helped them to shift and heal and tap in. So you're going to get the womb prayer. A lot of the ladies, all the ladies that were in Womb Alchemy, they love the course that I did, Womb Work While at Work. You ladies who get the book, whether you are in the boot camp or not, you will get the womb work while at work. Most of y'all work a job or even are entrepreneurs, or you're doing something where you're allocating time to other people and things like that. You need to know that there are things that you can do that will actually help you to continue to heal your womb and connect with that divine feminine energy. So you are going to get that course. That video is 1 hour long. So it's and I got literally, I'm standing up showing y'all stuff. So definitely that. My relationship alchemy course. For those of y'all who probably have made contact with me from like me teaching one of Spirit Doula's classes, because I know a couple of y'all who are new to me have come to me from seeing me in that course. Well, guess what? I'm giving you that course when you buy the book. I'm giving you the relationship alchemy course, the spiritual dimension of relationships. And what that is about is just teaching you how to understand if you are in a karmic relationship, a soulmate relationship, a kindred spirit relationship, right? Or a twin flame relationship. I talk about relationships in that course. You're getting that. And then lastly, you're going to get the self-love healing ritual. And I was inspired to do that ritual because from the goddess priestess I said. So the good thing, ladies, is even though you are pre-ordering the book, when you order the book, you get these things instantly. So let's say you head over to mentalalchemy.com and you buy the book right now, the womb prayer, the womb work while at work, the relationship alchemy course, and the self-love healing ritual. You get all of that right now as an instant download. So once you check out, you'll be able to get these 2 videos, the prayer and the ritual, all at one time. And then the books will be sent out in I believe the second week of October. Okay. Because I'm going to end this 30% off on Monday. And then after Monday, I'm ordering the books and then shipping them out. All right. Excuse me. All right, y'all. So that's my time. Dreamwise posted the link. Let me see. Did he post the link? Let me see. Does this link work? Let me see if the link works. I'm going to post it in the chat for y'all to be able to go to it easily and effortlessly. I'm so freaking excited about it. This has been literally a long time coming. Literally has been a long time coming. When you know you got it, and that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. These moments of spiritual initiation where you feel like you are being tested and all of that is so that you can get to moments like this. It's so that you can get to moments like this. So there's the link right there. I probably should pin it for people who, there you go, pin it for people who come in later. Um, but it's these moments like it, the spiritual initiations and the heartbreak and the chaos and the dark nights of the souls and the depressions and the chaos or whatever. It's for these moments right here. It's for these moments right here. Okay. It's so that you it's so that you create something, that you do something that is aligned with the will of God, right? It's so that you do something and so that you so that you become who it is that you're supposed to become. That's what this whole thing is about. And so if you don't embrace the challenges that are being presented to you right now, then you miss out on these beautiful moments of your growth and of your elevation. You miss out on the fruits of that labor. And I'm not telling you exactly how you are going to be rewarded for going through the process, for doing the healing work. I'm not telling you exactly how it's going to come for you, but I know it's going to come. I know it's going to come. It absolutely has to come, right? Because that's the law of cause and effect. When you listen to your intuition and when you go do that work, there has to be an effect. There has to be a result that is opposite and equal of what it is that you've been doing. And so I hope that for you. I wish that for you. And I desire that for you. All right. That's my time, family. My birthday is Friday. I hope to see y'all on Friday. We are still going to do live readings on Friday. I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about then. It may just be live readings as a way for me to give back to you for being present with me. All right. I'll see y'all then. Peace.